Dutch, and the Price of Pretense. A body like no other. In the heart of an ever-buzzing commercial city lived a young lady named Dot. She worked at a small fashion store on the island and spent most of her time scrolling through social media, watching the seemingly perfect lives of influencers and celebrities. Dot was naturally slim, with a graceful figure and an elegant neck that made her stand out quietly. But in her eyes, that was not enough. Each time she passed by her mirror, she sighed and shook her head. What she saw wasn't what she wanted. In her mind, beauty had only one shape: curvy hips, thick thighs and full breasts, the kind that turned heads on internet and made men fall over themselves. Her roommate, Amaka, often told her, "Dot, you're beautiful the way you are." But Dot only smiled sadly. "Not in this city," she would reply. "Men want body. Brands want body. Even jobs look for body." The big change. One day, Dot made a decision. She sold her old phone, pawned her grandmother's gold earrings, and even borrowed some money from a colleague under the excuse of emergency family needs. With the money, she bought silicone hip pads that gave her a round, voluptuous figure and a foam-padded brassiere that made her chest appear much fuller. She ordered them online from a questionable seller who promised instant transformation. No surgery, no stress. The moment she wore her new outfit, even she couldn't recognize herself. She twirled before the mirror and whispered, "Now, this is body." The party. That weekend, there was a rooftop party in Glap Island, music, barbecue, cocktails, and flashing lights. It was the kind of party where appearances mattered more than conversations. Dot had been invited by her friend Bimp, who was known for hosting the most glamorous events in the city. Dot arrived late, stepping out of the taxi like a video vixen. Her dress hugged every curve, the fake ones, and her makeup was flawless. Within minutes, she was the center of attention. Guys stared, girls whispered. Liquor, a rising tech entrepreneur with over 200K followers on Instagram, couldn't take his eyes off her. "Who's that?" he asked his friend. "That's Dot. I heard she works at a boutique, but tonight she looks like a celebrity." He smiled and began to walk toward her. Water games and secrets. Midway through the party, Bimp announced a surprise event: water tag. Everyone cheered. The rule was simple: each guest would be randomly splashed with water balloons or sprayed with small water guns. "It's just harmless fun," Bimp laughed, handing out the balloons. But for Dot, it wasn't fun at all. She knew her hips were filled with a foam material that flattened on contact with water. If water touched her, the entire illusion would fall apart. Thinking quickly, she whispered to her friend, "I need to pee," and slipped toward the restroom. She waited there for 20 minutes, hoping the game would end. But Liquor was waiting just outside the restroom. He had saved a balloon just for her. "She has to play," he said to himself, with a smile. The fall of the illusion. As Dot stepped out of the restroom, adjusting her makeup, she took a deep breath. The rooftop looked calm. Maybe it was over. She walked out confidently, thinking she had escaped. Suddenly, splash, a cold burst of water hit her from behind. It was Liquor, laughing as he threw the water balloon with playful joy. But the laughter stopped. Her dress, once perfectly fitted, began to sag. Her hips deflated instantly. The one scurvy figure collapsed like a popped balloon. The padded brassiere tilted awkwardly, and her dress, tailored for a false body, now looked like an oversized robe hanging from a clothesline. Silence swept across the rooftop. A gasp, a whisper, then laughter. People didn't just stare, they recorded. Phones were up, videos were streaming. Some men who had been admiring her walked away, shaking their heads. Liquor stepped back in shock. Wait, what? Dotch stood frozen, drenched in shame. She couldn't speak. She couldn't cry. She turned and walked away from the party, the sound of her squishing shoes louder than the music behind her. The real mirror. That night, Dotch didn't sleep. She scrolled through her phone and saw the video, her circulating with captions like, "When the hips lie. Fake it till water hits you." City girls and their packaging. She wanted to disappear. A marker who had stayed home that night came to her room in the morning and sat beside her. Dotch finally broke down. "I just wanted to be beautiful." "You already were," Amaka said softly. "But you didn't see it because the world told you beauty had to be one way." Dotch nodded slowly. That day, she packed away the fake hips and foam brass. She deleted the videos on her phone and promised herself never to chase validation that came from lies. Becoming Dotch again, weeks passed. Dotch started a personal blog called Being Real in the City, where she shared her experience anonymously at first. Surprisingly, many girls messaged her, "I went through the same thing. Thank you for speaking up, you're brave." The same society that mocked her was now learning from her. She didn't need fake hips anymore. She walked with real confidence. She smiled more, wore what fit her real body, and started designing clothes for slim women who were proud of who they were. And when Lika followed her again on Instagram, she simply smiled, shook her head, and pressed block. Moral of the story: real beauty begins the moment you stop trying to be someone else. In a world that demands perfection, courage is being authentic.